Do you know about Dolores Huerta? Do you know about Dolores Huerta? Do you know about Dolores Huerta? Si se puede. Yes, we can. Many of us Americans are familiar with, some of us still unfamiliar with, the work of labor leader and civil rights activist Cesar Chavez, of his influence on improving the lives of farm workers in the U.S. There is a holiday in his honor held on March 31st of every year called Cesar Chavez Day, and it is observed in Arizona, starting in California, Colorado, Michigan, New Mexico, Nevada, Texas, Utah, Washington, and Wisconsin. This was made a federal holiday by President Barack Obama in 2014. Not all of us are familiar with another person that worked alongside Cesar Chavez. Her name is Dolores Huerta. And Dolores Huerta, she fought also for the rights of farm workers in America. Both of these people, along with others, have fought primarily in the 1960s, but Dolores Huerta still is able to continue to fight for such rights to this day. Very recently, on April 10th, there is a holiday celebrating her, and it's celebrated and recognized in California, Nevada, and Washington State. Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta both helped establish the United Farm Workers. It all started around 1955 when Huerta was a school teacher in the agricultural community of Stockton, California. There, she noticed that many of her students would come to school without proper clothing, without shoes, and without food. She then realized the need for such advocacy for these families. From then on, she made sure to fight for the rights of farm workers in the U.S. to make sure that the basic human needs of each family were met and conditions were humane. Si se puede, si se puede. Yes, we can. And so she has worked in grassroots campaigns, working with families of farm workers from the ground up. Mainly in the 1960s, Dolores Huerta and Cesar Chavez, along with other civil rights leaders, have been fighting very hard for farm workers. We're so used to getting our produce at the grocery store. Not all of us remember all the people that have helped to bring that produce to our grocery store and to our table. Very often, people are working in fields for long hours, often with threats of dehydration, living in conditions that are less than ideal for any human being in order to make a living for themselves and their families. Even with the current coronavirus pandemic, it is extra important to remember that these workers are putting their lives on the line, risking their lives in order to ensure that we have food. Many workers right now are worried about their conditions they're working in, where they can be close to other people, and living in close quarters with other people, worried about bringing any germs to their families that they live with. We must remember the important people that help feed us in America and help bring food to our table. The union, the United Farm Workers of America, was established by Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta in order to advocate for the rights of farm workers in the U.S. A very influential boycott that helped change the kind of dialogue and rights of American farm workers happened between 1965 and 1970, and it was called the Delano Grape Strike and Boycott. Cesar Chavez and Dolores Huerta, along with many farm workers, would strike and boycott eating grapes. Many of U.S. citizens also followed suit and did not eat grapes for a long period of time, 1965 to 1970. In those 5 years, the companies that hired farm workers were forced to listen to the needs of their workers in order to provide more humane conditions and better pay that were respectful to all the work that their employees provided for the company and provided for Americans. The United Farm Workers is still to this day very much involved in nonviolent acts in order to gain attention from the companies that they work for. It is one of the cornerstones of the United Farm Workers. Dolores Huerta just turned 90 years old on her birthday and Dolores Huerta Day, April 10th. In 2017, she received a Medal of Freedom by President Barack Obama, who also shared in his appreciation of her slogan, Se Puede, yes, we can. She still works with her foundation, the Dolores Huerta Foundation, in order to still fight for farm workers and their families, empowering them to speak up for what they need in terms of access to education and access to a good quality of life. So the next time you look at your salad or your produce, remember the work of Dolores Huerta, the work of Cesar Chavez, and the work of farm workers who help bring these nutrients to your table. Do you know about Dolores Huerta? Do you know about Dolores Huerta? Do you know about Dolores Huerta? Si se puede, yes we can. Do you know about Dolores Huerta? Do you know about Dolores Huerta? Do you know about Dolores Huerta? Si se puede, yes we can. You can learn more about Dolores Huerta and her foundation at doloreshuerta.org.